Hi everyone, welcome to Sports Jazz. Josh and Isaac, we are back tonight. This evening, we have the Champions League resuming. Of course, we have Arsenal versus PSG, and that's going to be our main focus. We will go through quickly the other matches or the other games that are meant to happen today. But in the meantime, once again, thank you so much for subscribing. Sports Jazz, Josh and Isaac, keep subscribing, guys. Keep hitting the like button. Do not stop and share our videos. Yeah, Josh, what's up, man? We have Arsenal playing tonight. I know you're a Manchester United fan. You're sad that United is not anywhere close to anywhere in the Europa. Sorry, anywhere in the UCL Champions League, but rather Europe, of which you even lost your first game. Not lost. Did you lose? Ah, it was a draw with FC20. But once again, guys, sorry, I'm just trolling Josh. I'm just trolling Josh. Welcome to Sports Jazz. Isaac, Josh, Arsenal versus PSG at the Emirates tonight. Yo, Josh, we head into the game today. Arsenal heads into the game today with I mean, the last three games they've played with PSG, one has been in the International Champions Cup, where Arsenal won 5-1, and that was the 2018, way back in July 2018. Then, of course, in 16, UEFA still 2-2. Then 17, sorry, again, 2016, September 1-1. So in other words, there is no recent matches between the two games. They have Enrique, and of course, they have Arteta also coming through. Josh, what's up? Josh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Josh. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. The mic is off.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Very well, Josh. I can hear you. Before you proceed,
sorry.
the last 5 matches from both teams, Arsenal has won 3 and drew 2. PSG has won 4 and drew 1. So, Josh, let's kick it off.
Yes. Yeah, it's good to be here. I know you say something, you trolled United a bit, but for any Man United fan, any Man United fan, it is no longer sad that they are not in the Champions League. What is sad is the performances they see every day of the week. I mean, it's no longer even a troll. Arsenal fans no longer even have the guts to or the desire to troll United fans, because it has become more of an everyday thing. Yes, they are now the side that is better, but we can still have one over them and tell them that this is a derby of failures in Europe, because Arsenal and PSG have both never lifted the big ears. But Arsenal over the years, they've both never lifted the big ears. But over the years, Arsenal. No, I'm just throwing it out there, because I mean, every chance they get, they would stick one in your throat. But over the years, as in this fixture, Arsenal against PSG, Arsenal has won almost every time, and PSG itself, they are not very good travelers. Actually, every time they've come to England, they've almost been beaten. The last beating they got when they came to St. James's Park was against Newcastle, that 4-1, which is the biggest defeat they have suffered at the hands of an English team. So yes, history is in favor of Arsenal to win this game. But it's interesting that a night of a Champions League game is important to every football fan, because these are the nights that the better players are made of. And PSG has one or two of those players that have started to fill the boots of Kylian Mbappe. They may not exactly be. They may not exactly be playing like.
I don't know whether Jordan changed his channel, but I know he's the Jordan. What's up, brother? What's good? Yeah, Josh, please continue.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I mean, history favors Arsenal to win this game, but PSG has started show a bit of some players who can fill the boots of Kylian Mbappe. They have very interesting forwards in Bakola and Kolomwani, because they have legs and the lungs to run in behind any defense. But then again, Arsenal, I think
Why are you laughing?
you can say, I am laughing because Arsenal has built the the best wall since the Great Wall of China.
Oh,
I mean, in Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, I mean, these guys may not even want to play football going forward, because their backline is so good that, by the way, it's the whole back four. We normally talk about Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, but I would think that the addition of Jurien Timber and Calafiori actually makes them a very solid backline. The style of football that Calafiori plays actually adds a little bit of attacking dimension to their back four, because he's a marauding fullback, and
yeah.
oftentimes is in the other third of the opponent. So sorry, in the other third of the pitch. So he's a threat that Arsenal poses, and you hope that a PSG can run rings around
That is,
the
it's a
midfield,
bit
because
difficult,
for
brother. It's a bit
no, for me,
difficult.
the midfield,
I'm
it's the
telling
midfield
you.
of PSG that I see has
Yeah,
kind of an edge on Arsenal. If you have Fabian Ruiz, and you have Ruben Neves and Vitinha, these are proper footballers, and they can keep the
Fabian
ball
is
very well.
fantastic.
Yes, but then Enrique is not the manager who, much as earlier in his career, he was all about possession, and having come from La Masia, he had a thing or two about possession, but he has always been that manager who is not afraid to deploy tactics of in a 4-3-3 formation that
Yeah,
strictly on counter-attacking football. And then he has a player like Bakola, who has already scored 6 goals in 6 games, and Kolomwani, who are very athletic, and they can run in behind. I don't know if Teta.
Colomwan
Um,
is the player that had that fantastic. Was it in the Olympics under Thierry Henry? Right?
no, no,
Is it
no, 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 no,
Colomwani?
no, no.
Who is
No,
that
that
guy?
was
There's that other
Mateta.
player.
Mateta
Yeah, yeah, Mateta,
was the
Mateta. Yeah,
best
yeah,
striker
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
It's Mateta. So
Kolomwani is the guy who infamously missed a chance. Uh, uh,
yeah,
Ziad, man. Oh, you guys, this is an inside joke. Let's first leave Ziad for a minute. Ziad, I'll get back to you. It's Arsenal time, man.
yes.
Yeah,
You have
he's
an
trolling.
hour. You have an yeah, yeah. You have an hour of explaining to do
I know,
when it
I
comes to
know.
Ziad.
I
He
know. I
cooked
wanted to
you.
apologize. I wanted to apologize to Ziad yesterday, but he's nowhere. He was nowhere to be seen. But now I have the things to tell him that
Oh God, I
can give
didn't.
him some confidence in Eric Ten Hag.
Yo,
But back to the
yeah.
topic.
Let's go back to the topic.
Yeah.
Ziad. After this, we are going to get into Manchester United, so that you can cook him. He has seen the light, Ziad. Yes, Josh. Let's first finish up Arsenal. You come back and Ziad cooks you good. Ah, God, this
Yeah.
is so funny.
Anyhow, I do think that PSG's midfield is very good. It keeps the ball very well, because they have 3 ball players, and they a player like Vitinha can keep the ball all day, every day. But then again,
Yeah,
you should know that a player like Leandro Trossard has scored in every game he has played at home in the Champions
he had a
League.
beautiful
That
match
is 4
against.
games.
Yeah,
He has scored in 4 games of the Champions League he has played for Arsenal. And Roy Mackay is the player who actually managed 5 games, 5 goals in 5 games. And then Bukayo Saka is another player who has flourished in the last 5 games that he has played
He's a
for
player
Arsenal in the
to look out
Champions
for.
League. Yeah, I mean,
Correct.
he's really a player to look out for because he has been involved in goals for Arsenal 7 times on those 5 occasions. He has scored 4 and assisted thrice. So I mean, Bukayo Saka is really a threat. Leandro Trossard is a threat for PSG, but I know maybe this is third time lucky for PSG, and they will manage to get a result in England. I don't
All
know
right,
if
Josh.
I don't know if
Sorry.
do you think that Mikel Arteta will play deep to
Well,
avoid players
he surprised me
like
against
Bakola?
Atlanta. No, he
Yeah,
surprised me
to
against
avoid players.
Spurs. He
Yes.
surprised me against Atlanta. The City game is understandable. I mean, they were cut down. Rather, they were a player down. Man, anything is expected because you remember when he was asked in his interview, he said he said that's football. Expect anything, depending on. He said depending on the circumstances or situation, they were a man down. By the way, he was also reminded, how about Atlanta? It's the same thing you played, and he said we have to change tactics according to the game. We have to approach the game in a different way. So yeah.
Yeah, for me,
I don't think
I
he's
see.
not, because if he plays deep, PSG is a team that likes putting on pressure, pressing and pressing and pressing.
Yeah,
I
but
think
then again, it's in
in his
his
best
plays deep,
interest to not play deep.
I think when he plays a low block, because of the players that he has, to date, I still think that Arsenal's best players are the
The
center
back,
backs,
the center
because
backs, I
yeah,
also believe
the
the
system
center
has
backs
kind
are
of
flourishing.
yeah, the system has kind of made it look like Arsenal's best players are the center backs. You even
They
forget
are,
that
they are.
Bukayo Saka.
Gabriel,
You
man.
forget that Bukayo Saka plays for Arsenal, but I would think that
No,
if Arteta deployed a low block, it would maybe prevent Bakola and Kolomwani the space to run in behind. Whereas if they were playing a high line, he doesn't even
but
normally play that. But if they were playing
so
a high line, then you would have those
there's a high chance
fast
Gabriel
trickery
Jesus is
players.
starting today, Josh. There's a high chance Jesus is starting today, and if Gabriel is starting today, I don't see why they should play deep. I think they should go out. They should attack. They should bring. We want to enjoy football. The Spurs match was boring,
What
but
about
give
the
it to them. They
Leicester
got the
game?
points.
What about the
They got the.
Leicester game yesterday on Saturday?
On Sunday, the last 20
Yeah, they
minutes
won
were fire.
4-2. Yeah, they won
4-2.
4-2, but to
In
me,
fact, that
Arsenal
the
has started to look
the
like,
7 added minutes.
yes,
That's where they scored
Arsenal
the
has
2 goals.
started to look
Trossard
like
coming through.
a team that is chasing a title. And for teams that are chasing a title, you are not really hell bent on the style of play of the routine that you normally do, but you must win at all costs. At certain points of the game,
Wow.
the individual brilliance of Calafiori was really, really impressive.
Yo,
Yeah,
I'm worried for Ben White.
I was never worried for Ben White. For me, I mean, Marcus Rashford sat Ben White down at Brighton. I know that can happen to
Yes,
any player,
that
but
was
the manner
unnecessary.
in which he sat him down,
Very,
the
very
manner in which he sat
unnecessary
him down was
and uncalled
no, the
for.
manner in which he sat him down was very awful. So for me, I've always thought that
I don't know
yeah,
where that connects.
Ben
Anyway,
White,
I don't
Arteta
want
got the
I
best
want
out of him last season.
I don't want trouble with Arsenal fans. Let me get to what I was saying. I was saying I'm starting to feel for Ben White because everyone thought he was really putting in a very good shift. And actually he was playing very good, but Calafiori is a different animal, man. He looks
Yeah, and
better and better in every game.
Jurian Timber is a
Oh,
very strong
Timber,
lad.
bro.
Is
Very,
he's
very strong.
that is the wall I'm talking about, the best wall since the Great Wall of China. I mean, the
And we
Timber
see
is very
Mikel Merino
strong.
is also
He's
back.
fast.
He traveled with the
Yeah,
team, Mikel
yeah,
Merino,
yeah,
because
yeah.
everyone thought he wouldn't travel. But yeah, he traveled
And
with the team. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry, Josh. Yeah, team news, everything is scrolling down. Sports Jazz, Isaac and Josh. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Yeah, Josh. We see Arsenal is sitting in the third position in the Premier League with 14 points, and of course they have 1 point in UCL. They drew with Atlanta. Then you also have PSG in the first position with 16 points in League One, and they have 3 points. They won their first game. Uh, excuse me. And we also see Arsenal are unbeaten in their previous 4 meetings with PSG in the European competition with 1 win, 3 draws, and yeah, the French side also have played more games against Arsenal without winning. I mean, that's really sad. So that explains what you
true,
said earlier, that it looks like Arsenal has an edge over PSG.
historically,
And we see Arsenal in the previous home game against a French side in the UEFA Champions League. It was a 6-0 victory over Lens. Last season group stage. In last season group stage, the Gunners were 4 up after 27 minutes in the game, already 4 up. So I mean, PSG really has to come swinging.
Interesting to note. I think Arsenal did not concede a goal in the group stages of the Champions League last season.
By the way, yeah, I
I
think
think they
they
didn't concede
started
a goal.
conceding. They reached the quarterfinals, right? And it's Bayern that
Yeah, Bayern
knocked
Munich.
them out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
it was 2-2, then
But
1-0.
they are that solid, and they've only improved this season by with the addition of Julian Timber at the back. I mean, Ben
Mm.
White is not was not a bad player. He wasn't doing anything wrong, but Julian Timber in that backline looks like one of those players who never puts a foot wrong. Then Calafiori being on the other side helps Arsenal going forward because this boy is so talented.
He's very talented,
Arsenal
man.
Arsenal
He's
looks
talented.
in good
He's a
shape.
freak.
Arsenal looks in good shape, but for me, I think this is the first time that PSG will travel to England and maybe get a result. That is only based on the
Wait,
fact that they have a midfield. Yes, they have a midfield.
I don't
By
know.
the way,
I don't know whether you
I
just like
trust.
controversy. Sinan, how
No,
are you,
no, no, no.
Sinan? I don't know why you just love controversy.
Hey,
Josh,
Sinan.
really?
No, I trust the manager. I trust the manager. I trust Louis Enrique to have ideas to get one over his friend from La Masia.
Sinan, Sinan and Ziad, hold up. After this, we are coming to Manchester United. After the Arsenal segment, please. He says he's going to sack him. Josh, yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
anyway, let me add on something. Mikel Arteta, I'm giving a few things to add on. A bit of things to look out for, history, preview, and all that, or overview. Sorry, overview. Mikel Arteta will be the sixth different Spanish manager that Luis Enrique has faced in the Champions League. The current, and of course, the current PSG manager, Luis Enrique, has won 5 of his last 6 matches. Yeah, beaten. I mean, against fellow Spanish, managers. There's Pep, there's Unai, there's Xavi, there's Mikel, and furthermore, we see Arsenal has failed to score in their final UEFA Champions League game of 2023 to 24. That was versus Bayern Munich. Remember the first leg? It was Bayern winning. Rather, it was a draw 2-2. Then the return leg, Bayern won 1-0. And even in their opening game against Atlanta, it was 0-0. And we understand they've never failed to score in three. They've never failed. They've never previously failed to score in 3 consecutive matches in UCL. But I mean, let's wait and see. I myself, I think Arsenal is really going to win. I trust Arsenal. They have a very good defense.
You see the thing
The
though.
back wall is solid.
You know the thing
And
though with
Calafiori is
PSG.
shining.
Yeah, but I think PSG is really missing Goncalo Ramos, who is sidelined for this game. And you should also know that they will not be with they will be without Usman Dembele, Usman Dembele unnecessarily got into a chaotic
Yeah,
argument with the manager, and he didn't travel with the
disciplinary.
squad.
He was dropped.
Yeah. But
That is
Goncalo
quite
Ramos, I
unfortunate.
feel like PSG has a problem finding the back of the net, but that's only in Europe, because at home, in the first 4 games they played, they scored 16 goals, and Bakola has already gotten 6 goals. They had they had a 4 match, and they're on a 5 match unbeaten run, but they won 4 games on the bounce until the draw last weekend against Reims.
Josh, I
And
don't think Arsenal.
in the
I, don't-
Champions
I,
League, they
sorry.
squeezed which team were they playing? The one Nuno
You, you,
Mendes sneaked their last group game. Their last group game.
the
Gazaniga, the
one they
former
won.
Chelsea keeper, own goal. Yeah, 1-0. As in,
Was
they
it the one?
squeezed and did. They created a plethora of chances, and you would think that the
Josh,
chances were
I
enough to
think their
win two
last group name
games.
wasn't it against Ginora?
Girona, yes.
Yeah, Girona. It was against Girona, right? Yeah,
No,
on
not
18th September.
yeah,
They
yeah.
won
But they
one
won
nil.
1-0. Yeah, Nuno
Yeah,
Mendes,
Zaganiga scored the goal.
Usman Dembele was so poor in that game. His decision making was so poor. He was like a poor man's Marcus Rashford.
Oh, there you go. Sinan, that is not me if you're watching. That is Josh still throwing. But Josh, I also see Arsenal. When it comes to scoring goals, I don't think it's a problem that Arsenal has been facing. I mean, if you look at their last the game over the weekend on Saturday, they beat Leicester City 4-2. Midweek, thrashed Bolton 5-1. Then, of course, you have the game where they drew against Man City 2-2. Yeah, the Atlanta game was a 0-0. Then the Spurs game, that was a 1-0 still for Arsenal. Brighton 1-1. Arsenal versus Villa 2-0. Wolves 2. So I don't think they have a problem with scoring goals. And I'm really happy today. And I hope Gabriel Jesus is starting. I hope he's really starting. He's a player to look out for. He's built for such games. He's built for such matches. And if he starts, 100% I score him. I rather expect him to be on the score sheet.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, the problem of Arsenal has never been scoring goals, and I think Arteta knows this way too well, or he's read one or two things about his predecessors. They always played the beautiful football, and they got goals, but they used to concede way too many themselves, and maybe they did not have what it takes to manage a game and to not concede even if you're leading a game 3-1. But with Mikel Arteta, you see that the side is more result at the back. Actually, that is the reason that some of us, the neutrals, are concerned about the style of play that Arsenal is displaying in recent games.
No,
Because
Arteta told you he knows what he's doing. Come on,
I
Josh.
appreciate that. I appreciate that 100%.
You
And
have to improvise. If you try to,
if you're a
if you
football
try to
manager, you
attack,
should be able to adapt,
exactly,
and
you have
you
to be
read the
versatile.
situations, because yeah, most importantly, what you do need is the 3 points at the end of the day. And if you're playing the way you're playing with all men behind your goal, not even behind the ball, but behind your goal. I mean, yeah, for as long as you get the 3 points.
But he explained and he defended his reason. He gave his reasons as to why they were playing that way. At one point, I remember one of the things he said. What did he say? He said, I mean, there were only 10 men down, wearing flip flops and shorts, stuff like that. Plus, I mean, you have to give it up to him to have 10 men down. Sorry, to have one man down and you have 10 players on the pitch, and you have a city full 11 players attacking you, bombarding you, and you keep them at bay for for around 58 minutes. I'm talking about the second half plus the added minutes. That was incredible. That's incredible. I mean, Stone scored the equalizer, but you have to give it up to him.
Incredible is a stretch because runners up are never known in history. I mean, it's the ones who win that are known.
Ziad says Arteta should be able to adapt according to you, Josh, but you backed Ten Hag, who doesn't even know what adaptation means.
Ziad,
Sinan says you're dressed like Ten Hag.
Oh my God, guys, come on! But Ziad, yeah, Ziad, we would win that game.
Josh, first let's concentrate about. He says, imagine we're 10 down at Etihad, George, it will still be double digits, and we lost. Josh, that's what I was saying. Arsenal managed to defend City. Okay, they managed to defend City for 58 minutes. That is 45 plus the extra. But okay, 55 minutes.
That is not an achievement.
And City struggled. No, Josh, it is. Come on. City struggled to score. I mean, they did all their dark arts and everyone. The next morning, the media was all over them.
The achievement is.
Oh, Josh,
draw.
They got
remember,
a point. They got remember, a point. Even City was. Yeah, they got a point, and City came back from. Of course, it's Haaland who scored first.
But for me, what I'm telling you, if I'm to answer Ziad on the adaptation, I mean, this is Mikel Arteta's 6th season at the club. I mean, it has taken him maybe this long to realize that he needs to adapt to make certain things happen for himself and the football club. For a manager,
Josh, how many times has he played like that? How many times has Arteta played like that? I think we've only seen him 3 times. Against Spurs, Atlanta, and this one, City. And with City, even
imagine
he started playing like that after the red card.
But look here, he's playing like that in his 6th season.
Josh,
I mean, he has been at the club for 6 seasons now. I mean, if I don't think a Man United fan would be willing to wait for a manager for 6 years. It does not matter how good the manager is or the progress that he's making at the club, but United has not been known to be the club that celebrates coming second.
Josh and Ziad, let me first leave you. Let me see. Slice says, for all those who were saying we have too many defenders, they will be very useful. Remember, there are very many games to be played in several competitions. I say it again. Currently, Arsenal has the best defense. Their backline is a great wall, like it or not. And the people, even on the bench, players substituting in or being rotated, are quite incredible. We've seen Calafiori stepping in for Ben White, but even Ben White was doing a very, very good job.
Yeah, but for me, the issue that I do have is I don't understand why these very great players are asked to play a low block, because Arsenal is the team that scores goals, and those players have the quality to actually play in other styles,
Josh,
and they will still flourish.
In which game in particular, Josh? I hope you're not talking about the City game, because it's not even an excuse.
I'm talking about the Spurs game, but I did understand that he was playing a derby.
Josh, the Spurs game,
so
he had to play that way. Come on, Josh. And anyway, we see Ziad also saying Arteta has adapted. He started off with a back 5 when he first came and moved to a 4-3-3. Free fluent football. And he also says we would, if there was a clear progress like Arteta is making, we are going backwards. Ziad, in terms of Manchester United taking 5 steps back, I agree with you.
Ziad, look
whatever
here.
Josh is going to say.
Arteta in his first 2 seasons at the club, he finished 8th. And after he finished 8th, he finished 6th in his 3rd season.
Okay, that is improvement. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Ten Hag finished 2nd. Okay. Then after his was it 8th?
3rd, then 8th. No, but you can write off the season that we finished 8th because of all the things that were happening at the club. I mean, unless you're illogical, the things that were happening at the club were happening at the club.
Josh, there were issues of okay. You're going to say maybe
What
the owners,
issues?
the Glazers, and all
No,
that.
what
But
issues?
we
What
see
issues? There's
the
no manager
players.
in football
Aubameyang,
history. There's no
Ozil,
manager
eh,
in football history who has dealt with more issues than Eric Ten Hag has dealt with in
oh,
18
Josh.
months.
Josh, no, Josh. Let's
Believe you
keep it on
me,
Arsenal,
if you
man. Let's
say
keep it
that
on Arsenal.
Arsenal, if you say that Arsenal had to let go of the likes of David Luiz, Aubameyang, and
Ozil,
Ozil, and the
Xhaka.
like, at least those
Mhm.
ones walked out of the door after a decision was made by the manager, and Piers Morgan was not making interviews of them during the season. You should know what effect that would have
That
on a
is a low
team.
blow. That is a
No,
low
you
blow,
should know.
Josh.
I'm telling you the truth, though. I mean, you
That is a low
don't you
blow.
don't,
Josh, that is a low blow. Let's move on. Ziad says, remember Teta had Louise and Mustafi. Oh, there's even Mustafi when he first came. And then, Josh, that is a very good point. In other words, he's trying to say when they finished eighth, you can see the backline he had. And after Ateta got the players he wanted, you can see the progress. That is, in other words, you
okay,
can observe the progress at the club right now, which
okay,
is correct.
yes,
Which is
okay,
correct.
that's correct.
And,
I
and
agree with
yeah,
that.
that's correct. He goes on to say 55 spent on Martinez, bought
Mm.
Casemiro for 65. I don't even understand who commissioned
And
that.
guess what? And guess what? And guess what? Allow me, Ziad. In
Okay.
that very season, you know what happened? We finished third with Martinez and Casemiro playing regularly. And in the season that we had Evans and Varane as our mainstays at the back, that's when we finished eighth. So you actually justify my point that
No.
Eric Ten Hag needs time with the
Oh
players
my
that
God,
he has
Josh.
chosen to play
Josh,
for him.
Josh, you're so good with curveballs, man.
No, 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 no. But
Look at the team he had compared to us in the very first, rather in the first few years. Ten Hag had spent over 4 million mil in his first 2 years, and yeah, he says Ateta had issues with Aubameyang. Then yeah, Slice's correction. He has done 4 seasons plus the half season when he took over from Emery. That is a good
yeah,
point, Josh.
no, okay. He came in December. He came in December. Yeah,
Correct?
yeah. He came in December, finished the season. Then he has done the four, and this is the oh, this okay. This is the fifth,
Josh,
5.5
in fact,
seasons at the
it
club.
even makes much more sense now when Ziad says, rather says, when Ateta joined, the Buckle was trash. I mean, he even gave you examples of Mustafi and all those. So now with the
Yeah,
Slice
but
also
at
telling you
least,
joined,
at,
he joined
okay,
in
listen.
December, so you can. So if he finished eighth, you can't really blame him, Josh.
Yeah, but
If he
Oslice,
finished
look
eighth, you
here.
can't even blame him.
The thing is, yeah, but the thing is, you're talking about letting go of players at a club like Arsenal. That is David Luiz and Mustafi and Ozil. And apart from Ozil, even a player like Maguire would not want to leave Man United because of the wages he's on. The contracts that the players at United have are so ridiculous that
Yes.
they won't be moved on as quick as you would like. I remember Jose Mourinho in one of these podcasts said that at a certain point he fell out with the board because he wanted to let go of players, not that he wanted to bring in players, but he wanted to first let go of players so he knows what he's dealing with. But he already knew the players that he wanted to bring in, but it was impossible for him to bring them in. And then he has three number fours, three number fives, two you know. So maybe that is the thing.
Well, Josh, as I've said, you
Yeah, a
don't go
top
down
CB
easy. That
at
is.
a top CB in the evening of his career. David Luiz was you could have called him a top CB. You've just mentioned that he had to let go of him. You've just mentioned that Mustafi, a World Cup winner, a World Cup winner, had to be let go. You see, because of the age that he was when Ateta came in, he was no longer good enough. But then Evans, a player that we brought in, not expecting for him to do much, he ended up being our best player. I mean, the most played center back in any of the partnerships that we had. I
Josh,
mean,
let's go back to what you said, Arteta's style of play. The game
yeah,
ahead of the match against Leicester City last Saturday, still on the style of play, he said, "I want to win. The way we prepare the games and the way we want to play in our way." But understanding the context, I want to wear flip flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. But with this weather, I think I'll be very silly to do that. I'm very brave. Yeah, but tomorrow you are sick, you know? And he was trying to explain all of your critics who were coming, attacking him with the
No
dark
one,
arts and all that stuff.
no one was critiquing him for playing a low block. The criticism was not for playing a low block, because actually he got a point at City with 10 men for
Yeah,
over
that's
50
correct.
minutes. So I mean,
He was incredible. And we see, yeah, Ziad is still saying Leno, Ballerin, Mustafi, Luis. Yo, he remembered. Oh my God, Josh, you can't blame him. He has given you the full
yeah,
squad.
yes.
Leno, Ballerin. I know now you're also going to relate to Ten Hag's squad when he joined. Josh, don't,
Not
because
when
at
he
least he
joined. When he
joined.
joined, he finished third. He finished third on the log, not
Okay,
eighth.
okay, but he started at the beginning of the season, Josh. He joined at the beginning of the season. In other words,
Yes,
in
if
summer.
okay, okay, let's leave
Ateta
the
joined.
eighth. Let's leave the eighth
Okay,
when he came in December. Okay, let's just
okay.
say that he had 6 months to do homework. Okay, he did homework, went in the summer, and then he started his own season. And guess what happened in his own season? He still finished
Mm-mm.
eighth with the new players that he had brought in at the time.
Josh, you're a hard one to crack. I know. Anyway, let's go on. Ten Hag had De Gea, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno, Anthony, Ronaldo, Rashford. Josh, real quick, Josh, you see that lineup? The
Yeah.
players is mentioned.
Yes.
On paper, let's say on paper, compare with this
Yeah.
lineup here. On paper, Josh, do not forget. He goes on. He said the bench had Sancho, Ericsson, Elanga, Marshall, Josh. That's what I'm saying. On paper,
Yeah.
Ziad has a very strong point. You cannot compare. In
How?
other words, he's showing you your man is fair.
Ziad, look here. Mikel Arteta had he had a 6 months head start on the players that he needed for the fresh season. Leave the
Josh.
players that he found in December for Unai Emery, who was so bad that they managed it to the semi-final of the FA Cup that he won. He had only to play 2 games to win that FA Cup final, and those are the same players that had played the tournament to that point.
Well, Osla says Josh is right though. You can have a nice debate respectfully, disagreeing without cussing each other. I cannot say the same about some other fans.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Ah,
Thanks, man.
yeah, Ziad, Ziad says now compare the team. Yeah, Josh, I can put it up again
Now,
for you on screen. Yeah, you saw the team
yeah.
that he mentioned,
No,
and
no, no,
this
no,
team
no.
right here.
He's no Isaac. Isaac, he says you
Yo,
compare the team United has now.
mm.
First go back.
He says, and now compare the team now. Who gets
He
in
gets in
Arsenal's team?
Arsenal's
Okay,
team.
no, who
Who
gets?
gets in
I think
our
he's trying to
team?
say, yeah,
Our
no,
team.
he's trying to say players from Manchester United, right?
No, he's saying maybe the players at that time.
Oh, Josh,
That that
really?
time, at that
He
time,
says,
Arteta
and now
first came
compare
in.
the team. Says, and now compare the team now. Who gets in Arsenal's team? I think he's talking about now. I mean, your whole and by the way, Josh, who from Man
Okay,
United
either
right now
way,
walks into who from Man United right now walks into that Arteta team? No banter, Josh.
yeah, it's difficult.
He's talking
Maybe
about players now. He's talking about players now.
Maybe Garnacho can play ahead of Martinelli. And
Um,
yeah, I said maybe. It's very difficult because
Bruno.
it is not about just the talent. It's not about just the talent that you have. Bruno would walk into any team in the world, any team
Okay.
in a
Okay. So you have
heartbeat.
players who would walk into the current Arsenal team. You've said Bruno. You've said maybe Garnacho benching
Garnacho
Gabriel
for Martinelli. Yeah.
Martinelli.
Then
Who,
I think that's it because there you have Bukayo Saka. Actually, Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee would be a
who?
very good player for Kai Havertz. I know Kai Havertz has the experience,
No,
and
Gabriel
I
Jesus is
mean,
coming back, Josh. Jesus is
No, no,
coming back.
not
But
Gabriel
just you talked
Jesus.
about Garnacho.
I'm talking about the style,
I
the
think
style.
if Trossard is not
I'm
around, maybe Garnacho can. You see, he's also saying it. He's also
no.
saying it. Garnacho ain't better than Trossard.
Yes, yes, he is not. But you see, the style of play of the manager, it seems that Mikel Arteta prefers a player who is as direct as Martinelli and not any trickery, not any fancy stuff that Leandro Trossard possesses. Because many a time you see Leandro Trossard, he's played in other positions, but he's not really played in the position for Martinelli unless he's coming off the bench. But every time he starts a game, he's either being played in midfield or he's played as a false nine because maybe he has a better understanding of the game and he has a bit of trickery. But when you have Garnacho in Arsenal, he's maybe a Martinelli. A Martinelli.
Ziad says he doesn't think anyone walks into.
Yeah. That could be right. That could be right.
Bruno who? You said he walks into any team.
Bruno for who? No, Bruno for who?
I mean, yeah. Bruno for who, Josh? Bruno for who?
So let's look at their midfield. They have Odegaard.
Considering
they have Odegaard. They have Odegaard. They have Declan Rice.
Brilliant.
They have Odegaard. They have Declan Rice, and they have.
So who would you bench? No, Josh. We are talking about, of course, if they have according to the way they line up. Unless you're saying, because unless you're saying you have
the manager will have to. Rice. The manager will have to tweak that team, but he will play Bruno Fernandes. Believe you
usually
me.
Players,
he will have to tweak that system.
De Ligt got sold off from Bayern Munich to Manchester United. We saw the CEO, the chairman, the other side saying it's because Kompany said he wanted a left CB, correct?
Yeah, left-sided centre.
That means each each manager has their own style of play. Now, do you think the current style of play at Arsenal, okay, by Arteta, would accommodate Bruno? And if it is, and if it would, where would he play? Because I don't see him benching.
Let me tell you.
I don't see him benching who?
Odegaard.
Declan Rice or Odegaard. I don't see that.
No, Declan Rice is the one protecting the both of them. But I think for me, I do think that if Mikel Arteta had a player like Bruno, he will have to tweak that team. He will adapt because much as you say, this is the style of play of Arteta. It's because of the players that he has. He has looked at the players that he has, much as he has a philosophy in his head, and he has chosen to have this system to bring the best out of those players. But if he had Bruno Fernandes in the team, believe you me, he would still make him a world beater. Because, you've seen Bruno Fernandes play wherever he plays. Apart from Man United in the recent past, he's a high-risk player, but he gives you the goods. And if you're playing for a team like Arsenal that has a proper structure and a lethal forward, he's going to get assists in numbers of Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with you. Zagzi may not have the work rate, but Zagzi is such a clever player for a manager who wants to use a false nine. If a manager wants to use a false nine, this is a player you can actually think about. But then
I think his work rate is Joshua Zagzi's work rate is it's not so bad.
It's not so bad, but it's not the best for a team. It's not so bad, but it's not the best for a team that is pushing for titles.
So in other words,
everyone on the pitch
you agree with Izati if he says Joshua Zagzi does not have a stats over
that. I agree with that point. However, I do think that if you had a player like Zagzi and you Mikel Arteta and you want to play that false nine position and have the Martinellis and Bukayo Saka and Odegaard come into play and get the goals, then Zagzi would be a very, very good addition to your side. I told you once before that Zagzi is such a brilliant player. Maybe Manchester United was just not the right fit for him at the time. because if you're looking at a team that never scores goals, and the previous season we finished with a -1, and even the season when we finished third, I think we had 3 or 4 goals at the end of the season, then Zaxi would not be the go-to guy, because he's not the guy going to bang in the goals, because you're bringing Zaxi to a club to facilitate players like Rashford and Garnacho, and you have seen that Garnacho is just earning his bips, whereas Marcus Rashford is very unpredictable for you. So I thought that Man United maybe would have gone ahead to buy a prolific striker.
Well, you have Sinan coming in with the comments. He says, all players.
Martinez. Martinez
okay,
is also a player who can make
Sitting
their bench. Just
I
because
agree
of
with you, but sitting who?
Yeah, just because of how good the guys at the back are, maybe no one can get in there.
Right now, I would not even.
But Arteta at this stage, Arteta was 8th on the log. At this not
stage.
Actually, after 2 seasons, he was 8th. Then he was 6th. Then he was 5th. 4 years, then second.
Yeah, but it's good because it shows improvement. Not like
exactly, but you cannot improve
like
off last season. You cannot improve off last season. Josh, the season is not even anywhere near finished. But somehow you're calling for Ten Hag's head.
Believe you me. Currently, Arteta is doing so well. Okay, we're saying currently, but even if you're to compare the last season, taking off the season where he the season where he joined mid-season, was it the first season in where? In December, okay, and he finished 8th.
But he managed to win. He managed to win an FA Cup. I mean, how come it was okay
that
for
even
the
shows
FA
how
Cup,
good,
but
that even shows how good he is, especially considering the kind of players he had that
but
time.
They left him in the semi-finals.
Josh, considering how, the kind of players
Emery
that he had
carried the team to the semi-finals.
It doesn't matter.
And the other thing, though, is
it still goes under his record. You see, Tuchel won.
It is no problem. So did Roberto Di Matteo.
Exactly. That's what it's the next manager that I was going to mention. It still goes under his belt. So Ziad says Ten Hag has spent similar money to Arteta, and yet we can't get more than 2 players in their team. But you want to give him more time and more money. You're funny.
Yeah. This is it. Look, Ziad, at the stage we are at, we're not at the stage where Arsenal was, because Arsenal first improved themselves to be able to attract even the players that they could get. At the point after last season, there's no way you are going to tell me that United could bid for a player like Nico Williams or Lamine Yamal, and he would even have been interested to come to the club. But Arteta managed to build himself up over time, and then he managed to get these players in. And you see, at this point, maybe after this season, United can start thinking about making a marquee signing.
Well,
Arteta, let me tell you some.
Remember,
Declan Rice has spent 1 season at Arsenal, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Declan Rice has spent 1.
Shout out to you, Shea Arsenal.
But after the 4 seasons that Arteta had been doing the groundwork, then he could afford to buy a player of £100 million. Declan Rice cost £100 million.
I know, Josh. We all know.
£100 million.
We know.
Yes.
No, he says Arsenal haven't signed big names.
Declan Rice was a big name.
It was a big name anyway.
Martin Odegaard was a big name.
Not very, Josh, at the time.
Oh, very.
No, Josh, not very. It's because he was coming from Real Madrid.
We followed this kid since he was 15 years old.
Italy, right? He went to Italy, right?
We followed this kid. Spain.
On a loan spell.
But we followed this kid since he was 15 years old. The potential of the player was there. As in, Mikel Arteta had to do things maybe to even make mistakes, but they were allowed at the time because he was building something. He brought in players like Ceballos that he didn't think were good enough in the end, and he let them go. But then he decided to keep Martin Odegaard, and the board helped him keep such a player. It is always going to be very difficult for a football club to sway a player away from Real Madrid. But you cannot say that Martin Odegaard was not really a big name signing when he was coming from Real Madrid.
He was
then
sorry.
At the point now, Jurrien Timber was coveted all over Europe at the time that he came to Arsenal. Manchester United could have signed him at a certain point.
But I actually thought Jurrien Timber and their players.
Yeah. Jesus is similar to Zaxi, but Jesus has more work rate, and Zaxi has more health.
And I hope
Zaxi's health record is better than Jesus. So that's why maybe you would have such a player.
Well, Antonio cost United 83. That was his first season.
Yeah, and then you Ziad, I know you have some knowledge about the ongoings at Manchester United at the time that Anthony came to the club. You should remember that at a certain point, Ajax would have accepted us to have the player for 40 million pounds. But the club, as it was at the time, created a situation that they had to pay over the top for the player. And it is not just Anthony, and you cannot blame it on Erik ten Hag, because over the years, Manchester United has just paid over the top for players. But that was the management that was there at the club. It is nothing to do with the manager. I mean, I remember the time of Harry Maguire. Yeah, I think it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that signed him.
Yeah,
as in we had to pay 80 million. But Jose Mourinho, before Jose Mourinho left the club, he had him on a list of players, which is rumored that he was his fourth choice player. When he failed to get the players that they failed to get, he would have come to United for 50 million.
Josh, what players Ten Hag improved?
But he ended up coming at that. Yeah.
Compared, he's saying what players Ten Hag improved by. But if it's Dalot, compare him to Arteta's, which is true by that.
Yeah, you're comparing Arteta of 6 years. You're comparing Arteta of 6 years to a guy who has been at the club for
Davido.
Yeah, you're comparing
Arteta to David. David is in the comment section right there. What's up, David? Yeah. Yeah, Josh.
Yellow Submarine.
No. You was
I'm saying you're comparing Arteta of 6 years to a manager who has been at the club for.
Keep going back to that, Josh. He asked which player
but he has
Which, okay, one Dalot.
No, okay. Bad Dalot. Okay. So he picks out Dalot. Then he says, now compared to Arteta's.
Exactly. That's what I was going to come to.
He's improved everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
But you see, the players that you're talking about that Arteta has improved, these players have now come of age in his 6th season. You see, he has just played. He played only once.
And slapping that 6th season thing in our face every time we.
No, because it is true. It is true. I believe. Man. Do you disagree? There's no way. Rome was not built in one day. Arteta has done a tremendous job at Arsenal. He has improved that team. He has improved the players. He has improved the mentality at the club. Maybe you're saying that
don't forget Edu.
You're not confident. Yeah, maybe you're saying you're not confident with what Erik ten Hag has done for Man United so far to compare him with the progress that Arteta made. But I'm telling you, Arteta in the first 2 seasons, he finished at Arsenal. He was 8th. In the 3rd, he was 6th. You see, but we trusted the process. And by the 6th season, the process is bearing fruit. Though we've not yet seen any fruit from it.
You're saying Manchester United fans should be patient.
they should be patient. They should even wait longer because Arsenal didn't have the
Sinan Ali,
problems that Man United
Sinan
have.
Ali in the Sinan Ali in the comment section, he said the problems that Manchester United. I mean, it's beyond players and the manager. But I think that should be done by now. Ineos stepped in. They're
No,
doing a better
not
job. I
done by
mean, they've
now.
supported them. No, John, listen.
Ziad,
They've supported the
Ziad.
manager. The
Oh,
reason
sorry.
as to why I agree with Ziad, sorry, Josh. The reason as to why I agree with Ziad, Josh, I'll give you a simple, quick example. How long has I know? Forget about last seasons, rather the other 2 seasons for Ten Hag. We're talking currently. How long has Enzo Maresca been at Chelsea, Josh? And
Enzo
what are you
Maresca,
saying right
what?
now?
He has come this season.
Okay, he's come his season. They've bought players
Yeah.
this season. He's not met any of
Yes.
these players. Some have not even rather played for him for rather in different clubs. Unlike where you have Delict and a
But
few other
no, he has
rather
three players. He has
that have
three
played
players
for
who played
Ten
for
Hag.
him.
Okay,
He has
where
three
at City?
players who played for him and City.
Also, Josh, but those who was the manager at City back then? Who was the
I'm
manager?
just saying.
Who was the
Cole
manager at City
Palmer.
back then?
It was him. It was Enzo Maresca. The side
Oh,
that he was in charge of the. He was in charge of the. I think it's called the Allied Development Squad of Man City.
Yeah, correct.
That won
But
the
Josh,
English.
that doesn't count. That does not
They
count.
won a
Josh.
trophy with him. Cole Palmer was there. Romeo Lavia was there. These are players who are with him. But that's besides the point. That's besides the
Josh,
point. When you compare Enzo Maresca, yes.
Anslot.
So what about Enzo? So what about Enzo Maresca? He's won the trophy. He's finished second in his first season. Yeah.
Man, you don't give.
No, just make me understand. Just make me understand.
Sinan says Zaxi plays like Firmino of Liverpool. Sinan, don't. And he's soon going to surprise you.
Yeah. He has
Josh,
one or two
and Sinan
things.
just agree on everything. What? Come on. Firmino was way better. I'm not saying Zax is not a good player, but he still has to do a lot to compare him to Firmino. Then he said the squad Arteta hasn't been there for 6 years, although Saka and Martinelli have been there.
Exactly. I never said that the players were there for 6 years. This is what happens. You keep adding pieces to your puzzle to actually make it tick. He kept buying these players over time. So he's brought the players into. He's brought the players into the fold because he now knows that these are the right players that I need. He has bought players.
Name 3 players that Ten Hag has improved. Compare them to Arsenal, rather Arteta's Arsenal, or even Zax is giving you Gravenberch.
I think that is my point of departure because we shall not understand each other. Because I've actually
we are praising him good.
I have labored to explain to you why the circumstances are not the same, and the question must not be answered with who is the better player at Arsenal and what, because it's more complex than that. When you look at the manager you're talking about who finished third, in his first season, look at the things the problems that he had at the club. Do you know what it means to have a club which you don't know the status of it? What effect it will have on the players? You imagine your owner everyday job that you go to your job and you don't know if your company will be sold or it will not be sold, whether it will stay or it will not stay. What is going to happen to your contract? That is what Erik ten Hag was dealing with. 18 months. 18 months of uncertainty.
Okay, let me also give you another backup. Then not forgetting the injury.
Just before, even before the Piers Morgan interview.
Not you mean the one
he still had to deal.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, he still had to deal with. He still had to deal with that. But remember, this is a locker room. You're a new manager. English is not your first language. I know Dutch people speak a bit of English, and they've always been a bit fluent. But you have to acclimatize yourself actually as a manager because you're coming to a new place. But you have to deal with all these things. And he never had backroom support. Not like Ineos now. we believe that the structures that were there were not of football people. Like Louis van
Okay.
Gaal said that that is United is a commercial club. At the point that
Yeah,
he
I
was at
remember
United, it was more of a
Woodward and
commercial
all.
club than a football club. And Eric Ten Hag also inherited those problems for so many years ago.
Ateta
Ziad,
inherited the same problems.
the last point that I would make to Ziad is Arsenal never needed an open heart surgery. United did. United
And they still need one. They're still
is
undergoing
in
one.
the first.
The
United
first
is in
phase.
the first season. You know, it's in the first phase of recuperation. You understand? As
Just
in the
let's see what
stitches are
Oxlade
not even
says.
done yet.
Let's see what Oxlade says. He says if Arsenal regresses in their league position and doesn't win a trophy this season, the manager will be under significant pressure. My problem is fans who want Arsenal to lose just to prove a point. I personally, I don't think okay, I understand that.
Or
I
slice,
would not have
listen
a
to
problem.
Isaac.
Okay, listen, I would not have a problem if I was an Arsenal fan, okay, and they finished top 3.
Oh
I would not
God.
have a problem. Josh, you saw what happened last season. Arteta really put up a fight. The whole team did put up a
To
fight.
what
They
end?
finished 2
To what
points
end?
behind Arsenal, rather 2 points behind
And
City. And even without a proper striker, I'm not saying Jesus is not a proper striker, but he's not that striker who's going to give you
that's where
25
you get
goals
it
plus.
wrong.
Even without
That's
a
where you
proper
get it
striker,
wrong.
Arsenal were just
No,
6 goals behind
you
City. Yo, that was
you know you
incredible,
cannot
Josh.
like Arteta and then
Oxlade,
discredit
give
his
flowers for Arteta,
football.
I'm telling you.
You cannot
Give
like Arteta
flowers.
and discredit his style of football because his style of football is actually to play like that.
Yo, Davido says Jurgen Klopp is a legend after 2 trophies, almost 10 years. Oh man, you guys,
Yeah.
why
He did.
cheating?
He did
Not
almost 10 years
taking
at the
anything
club,
away
and he
from
won only 2
Ansel.
trophies. But he's a
Not taking
legend. He's
anything
a
away
legend
from
at the
Ancelotti.
club because for clubs like Liverpool,
No, I think he
they
won very many
respect.
trophies,
They have
Josh.
a
He
lot
won
of.
EPL. He won the
Yeah, he won the
UCL,
Europa League. He won the
the Europa.
Champions League. As in, he
Then
kept winning the bigger trophies while at the club.
what's
So I
that?
mean, at least it meant
The
for
Super Cup.
something.
The Super Cup too.
Yeah.
The Super Cup. If I
It
remember,
meant for
Arteta
something because he
sorry,
actually won a
won
couple
the
of
Super Cup.
big trophies while he was at the club. So it made some bit of sense for him to fall off every now and then. The argument I don't buy into, the argument I do not accept is the one that Klopp won on the 2 trophies because Pep Guardiola was in the league. I mean, most of the times Pep Guardiola won the trophy. Manchester United under poor managers like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed to finish second. So I mean, if it was Guardiola stopping Klopp from winning trophies, then maybe Klopp would have been second throughout his period in the Premier League.
You just love trouble. Anyway, let's look at Josh. You just love trouble.
Ain't no trouble, boy.
He says, "I'm not taking anything away from Ancelotti, but the Klopp gift, building a great project, keeps on giving.
Keeps on giving. True. True.
Arteta inherited a team that didn't even finish top 4 for the last 3 seasons. Ten Hag inherited a team that finished second in a year before he came.
A year before he came. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The season Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was fired. The season you're talking about, Ralph Ragnick completed.
I don't know. Yeah, it's there. It's on the
screen.
It's the
one you're saying.
Screen,
Yeah, Ziad. As in, that's the season you're saying that Eric Ten Hag found United second. Eric Ten Hag has had one campaign with Manchester United in the Champions League.
He has what? He has had what?
He has had one. He has he took United to the Champions League.
Okay.
Finishing third.
After? Yeah, you mean in
his first season he was playing Europa League. Yes.
Yeah.
And that time when Barcelona was knocked out of the Champions League and we knocked them out of the Europa League.
I remember that too. Okay, Ziad says second. Then Sinan says, David, we miss you, bro. David, you had the boys, and many. I think he was adding on his point, the one about
Yeah.
many minor ones, and of course, yeah. Osla says, for a non-Arsenal fan, I understand the rivalry, but Arsenal fans are fighting each other. It doesn't look good. I've never liked Emery. I've never liked how Emery managed, but I've never wanted him to lose just so he could be fired.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But Arsenal fans cannot. Why are Arsenal fans fighting each other? At the end of the
Ask
day, if
Josh.
they don't win the trophy, at the end of the season, if they don't win the trophy, yeah. But
They've
for
been
me,
fighting each other. I see them. Yeah,
I
Josh.
know you. But questions will start to be asked of Mikel Arteta. I mean, you can't have 6 seasons at the club unless the club doesn't intend to have any silverware. And they don't
I
ask
think
questions in your
that's what
sixth
Oslas
season
was saying
about winning the
earlier in the
trophy.
comment section when he
Who?
said that's what he was saying. Oslas, when he said if Ateta doesn't win a trophy this season, regardless of how he performs, he's going to be under a lot of pressure. That's what he was trying to say earlier. Yeah, as Ziad says, I think we need a new word for Josh.
Yo, what
He
up,
asked how
man?
much is Ten Hag paying you.
Great. Let me tell you something. By the way, Ziad, I was so rattled against in the last game that we played. Actually, I could not believe that Man United was that poor. And for me, everything was pointing to either the players have been coached too much and they are not willing to do the things that they've been coached, or the players are not well drilled, because it was such a pathetic performance. It was so poor. It was so poor that I started to question how Man United is going to back such a manager who is clueless in a game of this magnitude. But on the whole, I know that these things do happen in football, and the manager just has to pick himself up and do better
Josh,
for his own
sorry.
sake. Because
Let's
I know me, I like I told you before, Ziad, I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm not an Eric Ten Hag fan. A manager who comes into the door at Manchester United, I mean, if I do some homework and there are things that are good about the manager, I prefer a manager who stays a bit longer, because it will help the team moving forward. Imagine after all the work that was done in the summer, Eric Ten Hag is fired. I mean, there's going to come these washed up managers or confused managers like Graham Potter or Gareth Southgate, who are going to tell you that I cannot play football because I don't have Calvin Phillips. As in, they're going to tell you that Kobe Mainu is a good right back, because that is what they believe as football managers. Whereas if a manager stays for a bit, even when you struggle, you just hope that it is not far away from the places that can get you in Europe. Then if there's something that he does, I agree with you that you don't see any improvement from the manager and him improving players for you to be satisfied that this is the right man for the job. But for me, at certain points, even this season, until the game that we played against Spurs, I really thought that we had turned the corner, because even um, when we had a lackluster performance against Liverpool and we lost the game 3-0, it is just that maybe on the day Liverpool Liverpool came with all the determination and the desire, and they beat Man United. So you would say that the manager will have to find a way to make sure that his players are motivated enough to play for Manchester United, because it is a big honor to play for the badge, and these
Josh,
players
Josh,
must play even for themselves.
Josh,
But
Ziad, you and Josh, you and Josh need a
no,
good. I don't know. We need to get
Isaac,
Ziad one time on
Isaac,
the show.
Isaac.
You hash
Let me
out.
finish.
Let's
Let
go
me
to the
finish.
predicted lineup.
Let
Okay,
me
all right.
finish. Let me finish. Until that
Yeah,
point, Man United was having the most possession in games, the most chances in games, the third least shots conceded in all those games, even the ones that we lost. You see, so for me, I started to feel that there are things that are good about Man United going forward. So I was confident in maybe allowing the manager a bit of more time. But it is not beyond me to
Josh,
actually
you're not going to
call
wrap
it
up
a
the Ten
day
Hag.
on the manager.
Brandy says Brandy says she's not an Arsenal fan, but Arteta needs his flowers. That is correct. You need to give Arteta
Yeah,
his
they should
flowers,
just
Josh.
be in a very small vase, just a very small vase.
Man, you're just a hater. Josh, how much more does Ten Hag need to top on the 570? He's already spent a lot of money. Then we see Osler says, I
An
actually
open
think,
heart surgery For an open heart surgery, we needed to spend even much more money because at a
uh,
certain point, United looked like it needed to buy 22 players.
oh,
We just failed to offload the ones
Josh,
that we have. Believe you
Osler
me,
says,
Eric Ten Hag does not want to have certain players at the club, but they're still at the club because we can't move them on. We just have
you're
to
going to say
wait for the period that their
Maguire.
contracts have run out. Yes,
Case
and
study Anthony
maybe
Marshall, who
Lindelof.
just walked away.
Yeah,
Then you have
exactly.
Lindelof walking away next season. Anyway, Maguire very soon. Josh, actually, Osler says, I actually think that if Emery goes to Man United, he would do very good. He would have the resources and would have the experience of managing in the Premier League for a few years. Josh, I told you that last
Yeah.
time. I told you
No,
that last
you
time.
always tell me everything.
No, it was about at least it was
you
about
about
him coming to United.
you are saying about him. Sorry, Eric Ten Hag being fired because for you it's
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag must be fired at all costs.
Ziad says, "Did you see the stats? We conceded three or more goals in the 23 times under Ten Hag. Man, Ten Hag doesn't
Yeah,
have a
you
very
should
good. I
know,
mean,
Ziad. You should know that that period of much of those games, minus the two games that we've played this season and lost 3-0, were last season among the 38 games. So 21 of those games were last season. And like I told you, for me, when I'm talking about Eric Ten Hag, I don't consider last season as one of the seasons that he has been at the club, because if any logical person would understand the circumstances under which the things that were unfolding were
Josh, I'm
unfolding.
behind any Manchester United fan who says if Ten Hag loses the game against FC Porto, if Ten Hag loses against Aston Villa, he should pack 100%. I'm behind any fan. And I remember before, again, you say, you always say, I remember, I told you. I remember before he played Spurs, I told you if he loses those three games, he's packing. One game is already down. He lost
No, he's
horribly,
not going nowhere.
horribly at Old
You
Trafford.
remember what
For a
I
man
told
who has
you?
lost,
Do you remember
for
what
a
I
man who
told
has
you?
lost three games at Old Trafford, there is
Do you
no
remember
excuse,
what I
Josh.
told you? Do you remember
For
what
a
I
man who
told
has
you?
scored only one goal at Old
Do you
Trafford,
do you
no
remember what I
excuse,
told you?
Josh.
I told you
Ever
that
since
that
the
is
season
not going
started.
to happen. I told you that that
Okay.
is not going to happen. One, Manchester United cannot lose those three games. Two, Eric Ten Hag will not be fired, because for me, Ineos will start to look like the Glazers themselves.
Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, Josh and Isaac. Thank you, everyone in the comment section. Brandy, Oslice, of course,
About
Ziad,
Unai
Sinan,
Emery,
David. Yeah,
maybe to throw some light on
real
the
quick
would
in a
be
minute, Josh.
appointment of, yeah, maybe the would be appointment of Unai Emery. I agree with Uslice. I mean, he would be a good fit. He would be a good fit at the club that has created a structure that might be able to
I
help
think
him
that's what
to
we said.
achieve
That's
the
what we
things.
said last
Yes,
time.
achieve the
Me
things
and
that
Ziad. Ziad gave Unai Emery. He gave Potter. Which other manager? He talked about three
oh
man.
my god,
Tuchel.
oh my
Tuchel.
god, you see what you're
Okay, good.
talking about.
Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sports Just let's go into the predicted lineups. Josh, your predicted lineup. Who do you have for Arsenal?
For Arsenal, I think that backline picks itself. All the five players in the backline pick themselves. David Raya has actually been a very good addition to the side. and William Saliba and Magalhaes will continue to play, helped by Calafiori and Julian Timber. But maybe this is
Yeah.
a game. This is a game, since it's at home, that you can rotate and play Ben White, because Calafiori. I think he will pass. I think he will pass and be fit. He was a bit doubtful before the game. And in
And you have
midfield,
also
they will
Mikel
continue
Merino,
to play.
as I said earlier, working with
They
the
will. I
team
don't think
coming in.
Merino starts this game. Merino, for me, when
Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was Josh giving us his a lineup of players, Arsenal's lineup. I myself, who do I think is going to start against Arsenal? Of course, as always, the lineups. Excuse me. You have Raya is going to start in the game. Right back. Uh, right back. Sorry, let me see something here. Okay. Anyway, Raya is going to start, and if Raya starts, then you're going to have uh, the fullbacks, Calafiori. You're going to have Urian Timber, and when we come to the CBs, you're going to have Saliba and Gabriel. Man, that wall should be untouched or not even tampered with. And it's so good that without Calafiori, you still even have Ben White, who can play so good, who can give you, something that you'd really need. And from there, of course, you'll have Bukayo Saka is going to start. After Pate has to play, Declan Rice has to play. I still think I would love to see Martinelli. Sorry, I would love to see Sterling starting ahead of Gabriel or Trossard. But yeah, in Gabriel's place, I would have Trossard. Sorry, yeah, I mean Martinelli, Gabriel Martinelli. I would have Trossard. Then you have Havertz and Sterling up. I think that would be a good one, unless Jesus is going to come and play. Unless Jesus is going to come and play, I don't see anything else, or rather anyone else who will bench Havertz. He's a very good player. His work rate is unmatched. That's why earlier on, when we were comparing them with the Manchester United players, we saw that he was a better player in terms of input when it comes to work rate and all that stuff. Better player than Joshua Zirkzee. I see. Did we put up this? We are in an era of the game where the managers are in the stars and are the stars and the villains. Gone are the days where players used to be the stars. Not all. It's not. It's now. Now it's not all about the system and analysis. I agree with you when you say it's not about the system and analysis right now. By the way, managers are flying, but it's also good to give managers their time. I mean, rather their flowers, as Brandy suggested earlier. And right now, there's no way you'd compare Arteta to. There's no way you'd compare Arteta to Ten Hag. Man, he's incredible. And I also don't buy the idea that Josh was saying Ten Hag has been around. I mean, the problems he's faced. I mean, look, that's why I brought the Chelsea example. Chelsea has changed around over, I think, 5 or 6 managers. There was a takeover. Tory Boyle came in, brought players, any player he fancied, but you still see they are performing so well. So I still think that was an excuse. Or that is an excuse for all Ten Hag fans. I mean, he should have had everything. I mean, 3 seasons, and just still there's nothing that is wrong. There's Iroa at Bournemouth would be man. Ziad. I think I'd go for, if it's not Tuchel or Tuchel, as some of you call him, I'd go for Unai Emery. He's a very, very good manager. And as someone earlier on said, he has the experience already. He's been playing, he's won a lot of Europas with Sevilla. I mean, he's had that test of the Champions League, the Europa, the Premier League. He's been there. You see, Aston Villa is flying. He had them qualify for the Champions League after a very, very long time. Why would Imre come to? Come on, man, believe. In other words, you're saying it will be a downgrade for him to leave Aston Villa right now to come to Man United. I think he would be persuaded. If Ineos put up a very good proposal with a very good project, he would come and join Manchester United 100%, and he would do very well. He would not be like Ten Hag, who likes thinking, playing. He doesn't have a fast 11, changing players every time. Substitutions are all wrong, are always off with excuses every time. Then we see, how do I pronounce this? It's is it Biladad? Sorry if I pronounce it poorly. It says Ten Hag's time to stamp his style on Manchester United. Ten Hag had time to stamp his style on United, but I just don't see it. As an Arsenal fan, I saw what Arteta wanted early on, but with United, I'm not sure if that goes a bongo or Lingala dance. Lingala lose mabele. Awilo. um, in the first season, I mean, in the first season, I would really see. I saw what. I mean, there were kind of glimpses of what Ten Hag was trying to bring. I mean, the type of, the style of play, the structure. But the second season, I know United had a lot of issues last season. I mean, Ineos coming in, that whole. I mean, the future of the club. But you can't say even with the Glazers around, they did not back Ten Hag. Ten Hag was backed. Ten Hag was backed. He got players like Anthony. He got players like he got very many players. There's Tyler Malasia. He got players like there's Onana. By the way, Ten Hag has been backed in every department: the keeper, the defenders, the midfielders, and the strikers. You have Rasmus Holland, and this season you have Joshua Zirkzee. So I still say it's an excuse if he doesn't perform well. It's a very, very huge excuse. And I see Rashid says, yeah, it will be a downgrade for it will be a downgrade for Unai Emery to leave Aston Villa to come to Man United. Come on, guys. I still think any top manager would join Manchester United. If I mean, Ineos, you can see from, I mean, they've brought in the CEO, Ruud van Nistelrooy, the CEO Omar Berada, who recently said United will be capable of winning the EPL. They are looking at 2028. But you see Dan Ashworth, the recruitment from the people behind the manager to help with scouting and bringing in and signing players, from also the staff behind the manager in terms of coaching and managing. You have Ruud van Nistelrooy. They've brought in, there's another set piece coach. I'm forgetting the name. There's who else? I'm forgetting. I still, if any manager, if Ineos was to approach, if Manchester United was to approach Unai and provided him, I mean, with everything the way it is right now, and they showed him they're ready to back him up, okay, the same way they're doing for Ten Hag, I think he would leave. Who wouldn't love to coach? Who wouldn't love to coach Manchester United? I think he would come. We've seen players leave. We've seen players walk away from teams that are qualified, that have already qualified for the Champions League, and joining teams that are not playing in the Champions League. Then we see then Rashid says, "I've never seen your vid, but I get that you're pretty good. You're a pretty good person. You're a pretty good person, and I hope you pray and succeed on your YouTube life, man." Shout out to your brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Josh is back. Josh is back.
Yeah,
He's setting
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Shout out to you, Rashid, brother. Shout out to you, man. We had a few issues.
Give me a minute.
Okay, the channel had been taken down, but it's back. It's back fully well. Ziad was saying he just signed a new deal till 2019 too. Yeah, that was the extension, but he can be fired. I know. I read somewhere that United would have to pay 17M for rather they would have to pay 17M to what? To Ten Hag if he was to be fired. And bro, that is crazy. That is crazy. Ziad backs up. He says Irola plays good football. I'd like Tuchel or Tuchel, but Ineos want transfer control, and Tuchel won't come to. Well, I think that's why. That's one of the reasons. That's why he left Chelsea, because Tony Boyle was too much of a bully, bossing him around, and he's not that kind of player. Rather, that kind of manager who would take. Who would agree to be bossed around. Then Osler still says, "I know that Partey has been fairy fairly. Sorry, I know that Partey has been fairly fit recently, but would love for him to have a break for tonight's game. And the question is, who's currently fit to play in the place without dropping in quality? I think Declan Rice and Mikel Merino would do good. We saw Merino is back. He traveled with the team. He trained well. He would do great. He would do great. He's good. Mikel Merino is good. He's good. If you remember the Euros, he played so well. He played very good, and I think he would be a great add-on to your team tonight. I mean, if you're benching Partey, and I agree, Partey needs to what? Partey needs to get a rest. Josh, welcome back. Welcome back, Josh. Ziad, while you were away, Ziad was still hitting you up, but while you were away, Ziad was still hitting you up, rather hitting back at you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Sorry for that, though. Sorry for that, though.
It's okay. Ziad says signed Onana
And they've not
Mazzarri
even kicked a ball, but
Josh, just your network.
Yeah, so don't you want to have a chance for this manager to see to it that these players flourish?
Josh, I think they've done that. They've done that. They've done that. Malasia has been out. He played what he played. He's been out for a long time. Casemiro is not the good
How
player
have
he
they
used to
done?
be.
They've done it in 2 games. They've done it in 2 games. You've only watched them play for about 2 games this season. You've not even seen them play play with each other.
In other words, Josh, you're saying you're ready to let whether you finish at the bottom. How many points are you, by the way, from the bottom? You don't care whatever it is for as long as all
How
these
is
players
that
play. I don't
I
understand. Mount is a good player. I don't understand why Mount was. I mean,
no,
was it
I
67 million
disregard.
pounds?
I disregard. I disregard the table. I disregard the table and where we are at the moment because I've actually never looked at the table for the period that Man United has been struggling. I've just been looking forward to Man
Look at the
United
screen. Look at the
improving.
screen.
So I hope that United improves every now and then.
Yo. Oh God. Ziad says you're
Yeah,
back
man,
to
I had gone to refill. I had gone to refill. But the truth,
you were
though,
talking
is
about
when
yeah, Josh. Carry on.
you see, the thing is, there's 13 players that Ziad has told you that have come under Eric Ten Hag. For me, I'm not one of those fans who is going to say that you bought Anthony at this amount of money. You bought because I know the circumstances of the transactions that we used to do under people like Mato and Richard Arnold and Ed Woodward himself. So I would understand that bit of the business. But I also understand that you can have players that you thought would work for the style of play that you want, and they don't. And that has never been a crime. That has
Yeah,
never been a
it
crime.
has never been
You
a
just
crime, but
hope
Josh,
that
at the
those are
end
the
of the day,
players.
you've spent
Now
money.
you
You've
have
spent
not.
money.
We've played 6 games. We've played 6 games. The players that you've written there have not even played 2 games together. Ugarte played his first game against Spurs. You see, and you were telling me that Ed Ten Hag should leave. Well, why doesn't he play? Ugarte played for Uruguay. He should be starting. You must allow the players to acclimatize and get into the mold. Players are not the same. They are players who will be signed and immediately he will look like he's been there for years, like Joshua Zagzi. Then there's a player who is going to struggle to acclimatized to even Manchester, because actually Manchester, as we do understand, is not the easiest place to live. So just coming from an area where the weather is a bit different, that could take a toll on you. Angel Di Maria was such a talented player, and Louis van Gaal sought for this player because he was at a press conference sometime, and they told him that why you interested in a winger? You have so many wingers at the club, and the wingers at the club were Ashley Young, Jesse Lingard, and he told them none of them is Neymar or Angel Di Maria. But Di Maria came to the club, and just under one season, he failed to acclimatize to the place, and the environment just became difficult for him. His wife even started suggesting
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they should
We
leave.
saw we saw
So
what
I
Owa
mean,
is
what I'm
saying. We
trying to
saw what
say
Di
is
Maria even up to now is
players.
still saying. Excuses.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is players can come in, and players sometimes may not make it, but it is too soon for you to say that a manager you bucked and gave all that money to buy all these players from a new Manchester United look is just going to go out of the door,
Yeah,
because it
okay.
means that Ineos doesn't have to look for a manager best for Manchester United, but it has to look for a manager who can appreciate the talent at the club.
Josh, Josh, real quick. Uh, I don't. You went off while we're having the lineup. Real quick, let's do the lineup, Josh. Let's do the lineup real quick.
Yeah, I did mine. I did the back four picks itself.
Uh-huh.
Midfield, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and maybe Leandro Trossard or Mikel Merino. I know
Mm-hmm.
this man is very pragmatic. He might throw in a Mikel Merino, but for me, Mikel Merino should come off the bench to head in maybe a corner kick when
Well,
things are bad.
Osla suggested
And
and said maybe Partey should be rested, and I said, yeah, he could
yeah,
be
yeah, that
rested
would
because
be.
Mikel
Yeah,
Merino
but
is ready.
resting Partey in a Champions League
The
game could
problem is
also
they
be a
need
bit
this game. They need the
difficult.
points. They need the
Yeah,
points
and
tonight. They need the points.
for a player like Thomas Partey, these are the nights that are left in his legs. If
Yeah.
anything, you can rest him against Leicester City, but if you're playing against PSG at home in a Champions League game, he's the player who should start on your lineup.
This is a good one. Uh, Bildadad says predicted Arsenal lineup: Raya, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Pate, Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, and Havertz. That's a good lineup. It's a strong lineup. Let me
That
see.
is the lineup. That is
Oh,
the
hold up, hold
lineup
up, hold up, bro.
that. Yeah, that
Just
is
I
the
don't
lineup
see.
that.
I don't see. One is missing, right? Who the
No,
defenders?
they're
Really?
there. You don't
I
see
see
Gabriel is there.
Gabriel,
Raya Gabriel,
Saliba, Timber. No, Raya is the
Timber,
keeper. Yeah,
Rice. Yeah. Oh, there is no left back.
there's no left back. And Calafiori, he has added him.
Yeah,
And Calafiori, he has added him.
yeah.
And Calafiori, that is correct. Uh, Stats. No, he's a good. He played so well. He got his flowers
Yo,
during
this is a
the.
Champions League. This is a Champions League night. But I remember a time that Arsenal was so good that they
Mm.
would bring a guy whose name you've never heard of, Jeremy Alade, and the guy was just too good because the structure was good, and Arsenal looks like it is in that place. It looks
Nwaneri
like
is
it's
doing
in that
good. We saw
place.
him against. Yeah, he's doing
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we watched him in the preseason. He's interesting. He's an interesting player, but
I think he
for
also
me,
played.
I
He
don't
came on
think.
even against Leicester City,
Yeah,
if I
Man
remember
City. Yeah,
correctly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Man
But I
City
don't
also
think
came
this
on.
is
Yeah,
a
he
game.
played
I
so well.
don't think this is a game Mikel Arteta is going to gamble. I
You
know
don't think?
Nwaneri is
You think?
a good player. I
I
think he
also
will
know
go
he
with
wants
his
the
best
points
11.
because he
He
drew
will
with
go with his
Atlanta.
best 11. I
He
I
drew with
I I, I
Atalanta because he
agree.
wants.
I want to agree with Oslice on dropping Thomas Partey, but this is the game Thomas Partey is made for. A Champions League night
Uh,
against PSG. I
yeah, it
mean,
is
it
a good
doesn't.
one.
He would have rested him over the weekend, but there's a battle that is going to be very interesting in midfield. We're going to love it.
Players to look out for, Josh. Exactly now. Now you've talked about the battle. Players to look out for tonight. Arsenal versus PSG.
For Arsenal, Leandro Trossard and Bukayo Saka and
Only?
David Raya
Oh, David Raya is good. How about
Yeah,
Gabriel when it comes to set pieces?
no, Mikel Merino will score on his debut off the bench because he's good in the air.
Uh, and for PSG, players to look out for. Players that
Oh,
Arsenal,
yo, Fabian Ruiz,
oh man, that player. At one
Vitinha.
point, wasn't Fabian Ruiz? I mean, it was rumored that he was coming, right? Josh is off. At one point, it was rumored that he was coming to, I don't remember, to Arsenal, but I don't know how that went. Vitinha, yeah, he has talked about him. PSG has very, very good players, by the way. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a good one. He says you could make a case for White. I also agree. I mean, but for White to be benched and Calafiori is starting, that means Calafiori is very, very good. And as Josh said, they need to play today. Ateta needs to field. He has to field his best team. He has to field his best team. Otherwise, he would lose because he already shared points with Atalanta. They got 1-1 each. Man, it's been a long one. It's been a long stream, guys. Thanks everyone who has been in the comment section. Ziad keeps on going. Ziad had kept your comments for Josh, but it seems he's having a few issues with his network. He says you went on to say we are 13 with 7 points. Yeah, the 7-point bit looks ugly. At least be in the 13th position with at least 10 points. But 7 out of 6 league games, 11. You even said it. 11 points dropped. That is very ugly. That is poor from Manchester United. Poor from Ten Hag, and yeah, poor from the players too. They need to pull up. Van Gaal was sacked too harshly. He won 7 of 10 of the last games, and we sacked him. Ten Hag won 3 of his last games, of his last 10 games, and we are keeping him. And Van Gaal had the worst squad out of all managers. By the way, Josh loves. I remember he wasn't happy with the sacking of Van Gaal. He wasn't happy. This is the worst PSG team in years. Their attack is Maoni Ramos, Dembele. Dembele is horrific. Dembele is out this game. He's out this game. He has a few disciplinary issues to settle with the manager, and because of that, they benched him. They said he couldn't play. They dropped him. He's not coming. He even didn't travel. By the way, he didn't travel at all. But if you look at PSG, they also, I think Hakim is good. Hakim is good. Hakim is good. He will do something. Jao Neves, Jao Neves, Yao Neves is also good. He's a very good player. Bakola, who knows? He could also play. He could put up a very good performance. Would have been interesting to see if they got cover from Napoli. Oh man, that player is so good. They did. They failed. If they failed to even get the Nigerian, the one who Napoli just loaned to one of the teams in Turkey. Who's that? Victor Osimhen. I thought they were going to get him at one point, but he was overpriced. Hanking Lee in their backup. Yeah, but he played, I think, in their last game. He played their last game against, they were playing over the weekend. Was it Rennes? They played. They won. In fact, even scored, by the way, scored in the 58th minute. They won 3-1. Then following Mbappe's move to Real Madrid, PSG is also facing a string of injuries, with Donnarumma, Mendes, Asensio, Hernandez, and Ramos all likely out. Arsenal are the most likely to match. We said it earlier. Arsenal looks they're in a better position. I know they have injuries. They have Odegaard out, but I mean all the players that are out, you can't compare to. You can't compare to what. You can't compare to what? You can't compare to what PSG is missing. But I also I was told, I read somewhere that Ben White is injured. By the way, he has a knee injury, and he should be back on the 2nd or 3rd of October. Calafiori was rumored to be injured, but I heard he's coming, unless those are all tactics. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Ben White on the bench, Calafiori starting. Odegaard, we all know he's rumored to be coming back towards the end of this month or early next month. Zichenko, the same. Mikel Merino, he traveled with the squad. Tomisayu, yep, still the date is unknown. And Tierney, who has an hamstring. By the way, Bildman, you also forgot Kipempe. Kipempe is also injured. Kipempe is injured. Ramos, I think November. Kipempe, unknown. Lucas Hernandez, when is he supposed to come back? I think the date is also unknown. So Arsenal is in a very, very big position today to squash, and I won't even call it. Uh, I wouldn't call it. I'm forgetting the right word to use, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal even scored 3 goals. On a good day, Arsenal will trash you, especially if you're coming at the Emirates. They'll give you a good whooping. Arsenal are gonna score from PSG is playing without the back today. PSG have problems with playing out the back. Then still say Arsenal only missing out on Odegaard. I think Ben White is back too. Mikel Merino is back. The only thing that I see that will be nice is resting Partey, but I don't see that happening because he really Ateta wants to win this game. As I said, he has only 1 point. He needs to make at least 4 points. He needs to make 4 points. Arsenal, PSG to lose 4-1, lost 4-1 to Newcastle last year. This is a poor PSG team. Then we see, but PSG is okay. I believe they can beat. No, Sinan, they cannot unless otherwise. Oh, they have Jorginho. Man, I don't know. We keep, even Arsenal fans keep forgetting Jorginho. We all keep forgetting. Anyway, guys, thank you so much once again for tuning in. Sports Jazz, shout outs to you, brother Ziad. We are going to come back with strictly Man United. You hammer Josh very well. Sinan, shout outs to you, brother. Is it Bildad? Shout outs to you. Oslice, shout outs to you. We had Brandy earlier on. We had Biddy who says start Nwaneri. Everyone that I've forgotten to mention, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do subscribe. David Ali in the comment section. Shout outs to you, brother. Subscribe, guys. Whoever wants to subscribe, or rather, whoever wants to join, it would be really nice to have you all part of the team. It would be really great. Once again, Sports Jazz, Isaac and Josh earlier on was on. Do not forget again to subscribe. Cheers. Arsenal. Oh, guys, let me give you a quick rundown of other matches that are supposed to happen tonight. Oh, sorry. We have matches still in the Champions League that are supposed to happen tonight. Where do I see them? Yeah, they're here. We have, in fact, they have even started. We have games like RB Salzburg 0-0 8th minute with Brest. Yeah, you have Stuttgart versus Sparta Praha 0-0. Dortmund and Celtic later today. PSV Sporting Lisbon later today. Slovan versus Man City later today. Young Boys Barcelona and Young Boys later today. Leverkusen and Milan. Oh, this is a juice one. Rather later today. You have Inter Milan and Crvena. Very difficult name. They are playing later today. And the main match, Arsenal versus PSG, who are also playing later tonight. You have Bill and you say you are right. Actually, I forgot to mention Jorginho. He probably would be a better than Partey for this match. But Partey, man, it's very very hard to drop Partey, guys. But yeah, they have legs in the midfield. They have players. Arsenal has a very good squad, by the way, when it comes to depth, guys. Have you realized that the depth is amazing, and the players are doing so well? United, I don't know what to say for you. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Josh and Isaac, we are signing out, guys. Please subscribe and like, share the videos. Catch you very soon. Cheers.